offices and you have Senator Graham and CFO Sink introduce you. I was in Jacksonville this weekend, and we had an event there. And I was born in Jacksonville, but that's my father's political or legal career was based in Jacksonville, and the person that introduced me was the leader of the NAACP youth when my father was the lawyer for the NAACP. And this youth leader got arrested and was taken from the place he was arrested to jail. And my father was the one who was trying to get him out. And that road trip from the place of arrest to the jail was one of the scariest experiences of that man's life. And he introduced me at that fundraiser in Jacksonville, and it was emotional, and it was wonderful. And that was one of the 3 most emotional times of this campaign. But one of the others is when I got the endorsement of Governor Graham here, Senator Graham. And I want to, in 1978, 79, when my dad was appointed to the 1st District Court of Appeal by Governor Graham and then the Supreme Court later, that wasn't easy. That was a long time ago. And when my father took the bar exam, he couldn't take the bar exam with everybody. My father went to Howard Law School. He didn't go to law school wherever he wanted to go. There were limited options for him to go. And when he passed the bar and became a lawyer, he was one of, I think, 25 African-American lawyers in the state. And this was a different time back then. And he was able to do a lot of things in Jacksonville and then get appointed to the appellate bench and to the Supreme Court. And Governor, that's why it meant so much to me when in front of that Miami church you endorsed me. That's a small world when I get to get endorsed by the same man that appointed my dad to the Florida Supreme Court. These things are really cool when you were running for office. And listen, we got 8 days left. And if you ask me how it's going, the answer is going to be we got 8 days left. And if you ask what the polls say, I'm going to say we got 8 days left. This is going to be close. It's Florida. It's Florida. But we're in a position to do something we have not been in a position to do in a long time. And Alex said it best. None of us remember really what it's like to have an activist attorney general. And the word I use is on purpose. When I first got in the race, Republicans were saying Sean's going to be an activist attorney general. And you know what I said? You're damn right. It's exactly what type of attorney general I intend to be. I'm not afraid of that. There's nothing activist about what Alex was talking about. There's nothing radical about standing up for the Florida Constitution. There's nothing activist about holding everyone accountable under the law. Nothing. But we've had it so long since we've had someone like that, we've lost it in our memory and we think it is radical. We think it is activist. It's the same thing they're doing to Andrew. There's nothing activist and radical about standing up for working people against corporate bullies. There's nothing radical and activist about someone who's willing to be black and white about the law and everyone's accountable under the same law. There's nothing radical about that. They just try to paint it like that. And that's where we are here 8 days out. And it is amazing, the energy around this state. I've never seen it like this. I know everyone is just, every day we wake up and we look at the early vote numbers and we press refresh and we want to know who's reporting. Listen, it's 8 days left. That's the answer to every question. We don't know. But we do know that if we do what we're supposed to do, and we do know that if we work as hard as we're supposed to, that we can change this state. Change is on the ballot. Change is not usually on the ballot in Florida. Change is on the ballot from the bottom all the way to the top. Change. And if you want change, then you got to help us get there. You don't just want it and we hope it is. We don't just feel good and we hope it is. We got to grab it and we got to go after it. Change doesn't just happen. And change is possible on November 6th in a way that I don't think any of us can really imagine what it looks like to have Andrew and myself and Nikki Freed and Jeremy Ring in the Florida cabinet. That is instant change in a way that is just, it's almost unfathomable because it's such a good thing. Because this state is in such a desperate need of change, I don't have to tell you. If you think what's going on in Lake Okeechobee and the Everglades is okay, fine. Keep the people you got. If you don't want criminal justice reform, keep the people you got. If you think all this guns and what's going on in this country, in this state, and you think that we don't need gun control, all right, vote for them. You don't want any changes, vote for them, because that's what you're gonna get. You want changes in all of these areas. That's what we're voting for November 6th. We're voting for changes in all of that, and I'm running for the office that I think is the best one in Florida because I touch all of that stuff. All of that touches the Attorney General's office, and there's nothing radical and there's nothing out of step about it. I believe that the Attorney General ought to uphold the Florida Constitution. And there are Florida constitutional amendments that are not being implemented as they should be. Florida forever. We're supposed to be spending money to purchase environmentally sensitive lands. We're not. Public education ought to be adequately funded. It is not. Medicinal cannabis ought to be available to sick people that want it. It is not. If the Attorney General isn't sick enough for that, then I don't know what we're doing here. Who's supposed to hold the legislature accountable? My opponent believes no one should. We had a debate last week. My opponent essentially said whatever the legislature says, that's the law. That is not accurate at all. If the legislature passes things that are unconstitutional, or if they do not do their job under the Florida Constitution, you tell me who's supposed to hold them accountable if it's not the Attorney General's office. She's wrong. And if that's the type of Attorney General you want, then that's what you'll get with her. That is not what you will get with me. We had a serious disagreement on almost everything related to the Attorney General's office. Not only does she not have the desire to do anything, she doesn't believe she has the ability to do anything with the Attorney General's office. We have a massive disagreement on what the Attorney General's office can do. It is the office that upholds the Constitution. It's the oath we take. The oath is to uphold the Florida Constitution. And if the Florida legislature isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing, I want you to know here and now, I will be the office that goes after it. That's what the Attorney General's office does. And we spoke a little bit about Obamacare, because after she said that she doesn't think that any lawsuit is appropriate by the Attorney General in a proactive manner, she then said, oh, but we got to get rid of Obamacare. And obviously that's intellectually dishonest, because Obamacare is the law of the land. And all she wanted to do was talk about upholding the law of the land, where Obamacare is the law of the land. It's been found constitutional several times. The minute I'm elected, Florida will leave the lawsuit to end the Affordable Care Act. That is the first thing, that is the very first thing I'll do. That is the very first thing I'll do. The second thing I will do is work with Governor Gillum to repeal Stand Your Ground. Woo. I just want to, we had a huge disagreement about that too, but the video that I saw about the young man being gunned down in a Clearwater gas station parking lot, it's my belief that ought not be the law of the state of Florida. Yes. It is my belief that we're better than what I saw on that video. It's my belief that the perpetrator doesn't get to go home that night and be with his family after doing that. Yes. Shouldn't be the law of Florida. So I believe that it's time to repeal that. But Stand Your Ground is indicative of a bigger problem we have, and it's about guns. It is about guns. There are too many guns on the street. It's too easy to get them. And I know it's hard to talk about it, and I know it's political quicksand to talk about it, but that's what these elections are about. You're electing change. If you want change on guns, you got to elect change on guns, and it's coming. It's on the ballot, because I believe it is too. Listen, I have a concealed weapons permit. I believe in the Second Amendment. At the same time, I can still say there are too many guns on the street. It's too easy to get them. We need more background checks. It needs to be more difficult to go to these gun shows and get a gun. As my ad makes it very clear in the TV ad we have, it's easier to get a gun than to get health care in this state. And that's just not the right place to be. We are going to lead on that issue, and if it's not the Attorney General leading on that issue, I don't know who is. That's what this office is about. It is not about throwing everyone that's in front of you in jail. If you want to run and be a prosecutor on steroids, go run for state attorney. She's running for the wrong office. This is Attorney General. This is the people's lawyer. This is the job where you protect everyone and go after everyone that's doing wrong, but you're a leader and an advocate on behalf of the people. And guess what? No one has experience in this office doing that other than me. And so, listen, this is going to be, the next 8 days is going to be hard. The next 8 days are probably going to be the nastiest 8 days you have ever seen in your life. It's going to be gross, all the things that you see on TV, but guess what? That's okay, because we're going to win these. We're going to win these because it's time. We're going to win these because it's time. It's time. And change is here. And change is going to win this time. And I'm just so happy to be here, and I see all my friends and longtime people I've known so long, and I'm gushing here with the people who are here just to see little old me run for Attorney General. But yeah, thanks, Ben. But I just want you to know that for these next 8 days, we need you to do everything you can. And if you've already voted, you're not done. That doesn't mean that you can check the box and you're done working. If you have already voted, you need to take 5 more people to vote with you. If you have already voted, you need to make some phone calls. If you've already voted, write a check. because I don't want anyone here to wake up and feel like they felt the day after Donald Trump won the presidency. I want you to think about what check you would write to undo that right now. I want you to think about how many phone calls and how many hours you would give up to undo what happened on November 2016. Think about that. And think about how you're going to feel on November 7th if we don't lay it all on the line and all on the table. I don't want to feel like that. And this is our do-over. This is the first election since that foolishness. And he is doing everything every day to show you exactly what type of person he is. And listen, this was one of the debate questions we had between my opponent and myself. She was asked, do you believe Donald Trump is a good role model? Her answer was, my husband's a good role model. My answer was, no, he's not. He is not a good role model. We gotta lay it all on the table. This is the election we've all been waiting on. We've all been waiting for a cycle like this and for a slate like this, and we cannot let it slip. You understand this isn't gonna happen next time. 4 years from now, we're not gonna be standing here and saying, let's do this. It's not happening again. This is it. This is the time. The circumstances aren't gonna be better. Candidates aren't gonna be better. This is it. And so I don't want us to feel like we felt that day. I'm not gonna feel like I felt that day because I felt like I could have done more. I felt like I could have made another call or written another check or done a little more. Not gonna feel like that. And I'm gonna make sure that these next 8 days, I do everything I possibly can to make sure I'm the next Attorney General, but not because I'll be the next Attorney General, because we'll have people standing up for people that we need to be stood up for. That's why we're running. I'm not running for my name on the ballot. Andrew's not running for his name on the ballot. We're running for everyone that has not been looked after, everyone that has not been stood up for. That's why we're running for this. That's why we're running for this. We're running this for the next generation. What kind of state do you want to leave? You want to leave them with an adequately funded public education system? You want to leave them with the Everglades? Do you want to leave them with a healthcare system that works? Because if we don't win these, you're not leaving them with none of that. That's how important this is. That's how important this is. So I just want to thank you for being here for the next 8 days. Please do everything you can to vote, to write, to call, and do everything you can so we don't feel like we felt on November 16th. Because if we do what we're supposed to, we will flip this state, and we'll be back to the good old days when we had a governor in the governor's mansion, and when we had an attorney general that looked out for the people. So I want to thank you for being here. And Mitch, I appreciate you having us here, and I just want to say, let's bring it home. Thank you. I appreciate it.